What's up, guys? So I hope you're all doing well. So I want to continue on talking about the MLB trading deadline. I've done a couple videos on it so far, and aside from the Yankee recap videos, I want to start going into the most realistic and likely destinations for certain players. And I have a whole series I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go over a bunch of players. I'm gonna do anywhere between 2 to 5 destinations that I think make the most sense based on need, fit, and what the market bears, and how teams are progressing and regressing, and so on. I know I'll have folks disagree, but it's all good. But let's talk about Trevor Story today, because I think he's going to be one of the prizes of obviously the trade deadline, as well as the free agent frenzy in 2021, this offseason, 2021-22. I have 4 teams that I kind of pinpointed as the most realistic teams. I'm sure I'm going to omit some, and that's okay, but let's talk about these teams today. Number 1 to me is the Oakland A's. And yes, I know they traded Chris Davis. They traded, Simeon signed with Toronto as a free agent. They traded Davis and got Elvis Andrews. But they also have the lowest, and I'm looking at my stat book here, the lowest and the worst WAR for all major league teams in terms of the shortstop position. So they represent the team that needs him the most. And they need another bat. And you imagine pairing him next to Matt Chapman if they don't move Chapman. That's a hell of a right side of the infield there. And like I said, they need him the most. And the other thing, this is my logic behind it too. If they're in contention, if they're going to go for it this year, this is the move they have to make. I don't see them re-signing him next year. So this is going to be obviously a short temporary move. But if they're at the top in the West and they feel like they're one piece away, he's the guy to get. In my opinion, that can help put them over the top. They'll probably get another pitcher as well, but if they're going to get somebody, it's going to be him. I don't see them re-signing him because they never give anybody $250 million or whatever he's going to get this offseason. So this is the consummate trade deadline going for everything this year move. That's the team that represents that type of fit for me with regards to Trevor Story. So that's why they would go for him. And they're a good fit, and they're a heck of a team. They've been pretty hot recently, and they've also been successful, but they've always fallen a little bit short in the playoffs for the last several years. He's a guy that can help put them over the top. So, because there's still no clear-cut dominant team in the American League yet. And he's the type of guy that if somebody brings in can help him get to that plateau. So, number 2 is the St. Louis Cardinals. And again, you'd be reuniting him with Nolan Arenado, which would be cool in itself. And again, this is also provided that the Brewers and the Cubs kind of stay close to the Cardinals, kind of making it a little bit more vital or urgent that they need to bring in a guy like this to put them over the top. Again, was it Paul DeJong? Yeah. He's coming back from an injured, I think he had a broken hand or broken wrist. Broken rib, excuse me. But he's never been elite defensively. Story is. Story's a massive upgrade over Paul DeJong. But again, I only see them going, for a guy like this, Trevor Story, if those other teams in the Central are staying close to them late season, even at the deadline and whatnot. If it's kind of not close anymore and they're falling at the tension, or the Cubs decide to unload people, then I don't see it happening. So that's the logic behind the team and why it's a logical fit for Story. Number 3 is the Los Angeles Angels. They need an offensive star for many reasons. Number 1, to help replace Mike Trout's production. He's going to be out for about 8 weeks with a calf strain, and he's the type of guy. And I know they've got what's his name, Iglesias, I think it is, at shortstop there. But Trevor Story is an upgrade almost everybody in the major leagues, with the exception of just a handful of guys. He would put that right-handed thump in the lineup, and the Angels also seem to be, in my eyes, they are one of 2 teams who can afford to sign him this offseason. Well, other teams can afford to sign him, I should say, but they're a team that if they acquire him, they can extend him, because not only is Pujols' money coming off the books this offseason officially, but the following offseason, Justin Upton's $28 million is coming off the books. So they have a lot coming off these next 2 seasons, and I know he would be costly, but he would essentially be replacing Pujols' money this year and then to get some cap relief the following year. Even though they need a pitcher, they need a frontline pitcher or 2, Story would be an offensive piece to really, really make that lineup into murderer's row. He really, really would. And again, they can move Iglesias somewhere else to give him some offense and some defensive versatility, but they need another elite bat as well as a pitcher, and we'll get to the pitcher at some point later on. But the LA Angels seem to be, to me, are the third fit. And the last but not least is the Cincinnati Reds, actually. He's a huge upgrade over Kyle Farmer there. And what else do we have here? It's also contingent upon a bunch of factors as well. And staying in contention in the NL Central, he's a guy that if they're in contention, he would help make really propel a team, whether it be the Reds or somebody else. And I only think if the Reds make drastic improvements throughout the rest of the season, or these next 2 months, I should say, and keep kind of inching their way up past the Cubs, up to the Cardinals, then it makes sense for them to make a move like this, because then he's the guy that could leapfrog them over the Cardinals. But again, I have the Cardinals as a fit too, so the Cardinals will be, kind of going back and forth with him. But he, to me, is the guy that could help the Cardinals to the next level, could take the Reds to the next level, even the Angels. He could help propel the Angels over the A's, I think. But it's crazy because the NL Central and the AL West have 2 teams in each division. And he's, to me, in my opinion, he's a good fit for the Yankees, but I don't see him as a trade fit this year because he'll put him over the $210 million threshold. Free agency fit? Possibly, but then you're going to have to move guys, and you're probably going to have to move on from Luke Voit if he comes back healthy. So those are decisions they would have to make later on too. But he's also not a left-handed bat, so it doesn't seem to be the best fit for me for the Yankees anyway. You need another left-handed bat in that lineup for the long run. So these are the 4 teams I think are the most likely and realistic fits for Trevor Story. So let me know what you think. Give me if you have other teams, let me know what why and so on. And if you enjoyed this, hit the thumbs up and be on the lookout, because my next person I'm going to talk about is Max Scherzer. So, and that's going to be a good one because there's some pretty good fits for him as well. So thanks for watching. Talk to you next time.